ready?
We're ready.
Good evening. I will call the meeting to order. It's agenda date, time, and location were properly announced. Thank you all for coming. We will start off with the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 19th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve? Rini, is there a second?
I'll second.
Chris, any questions or corrections? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have payment of the bills. Is there a motion to approve the amount of $891,359.32 for the month of February?
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second?
Second.
Matt?
We did have a question.
Question?
Katie had a check. On a check, what was the amount of that check, Katie, that you had to put in? Was that $25,000? And that was to pay off the lease on the van. So our last lease is now all of our vehicles are paid. We have nothing, right, Patty? Nothing is left on lease. So all our entire fleet is paid for, and that was the last check.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The cash summary,
I have no questions on that, so unless anyone else has any other questions, I think we're good.
all right. Donations. This month, quiet.
Quiet this month, yes.
Probably had quite a few last month.
Yes.
Great. Next, we have comments from the public. This portion of the board meeting provides an opportunity for members of the public to share their concerns and or make suggestions regarding school programs. Those who would like to speak are asked to register their name and topic of discussion on the public comments clipboard located on the designated table when you enter the library here. Those who would like to comment but will not be at the meeting are asked to email their comments to Kim by 4 p.m. on the day of, which is today. I do have one comment here, and I don't know if Kim received any email comments. And Dr. Trimberger will make a statement before we take.
Perfect. So welcome to some of our new friends here from the news agencies. We just wanted to make a quick little statement that finding out that some of you are here to address a situation that allegedly occurred in our community. Besides being aware of an ongoing investigation by our local authorities, the district has no information that we can share or connections, since this is an event that happened outside the school day. But with that, we would invite any comments from our first person.
Yes, we have Nicole Strack.
Yes, so my question is concerning communication. Now, the incident occurred with students that were current here. And my concern is the students here witnessed them being arrested. Now, as a parent, I think you should owe us some type of letter. Doesn't need to get into detail, but we need to be able to protect our kids and make sure that we're not victims of PUD took off video. And I understand you can't get into detail, which is fine. But as a parent, and even as teachers and staff here, they should be aware that there was a graphic incident that we should be looking at our children and make sure they did not see this, to make sure they are not victims. Because otherwise, everybody's kept in the dark where we teach our kids not to go forward, and that's not okay. And that is my concern. Like, how is that keeping our kids safe? How is that keeping our community safe if we don't address what happened? We know for a fact there's a video. That's proof something happened. It needs to be sent out to parents. It needs to be sent out to staff
some.
We'll go, when they got arrested. So therefore, situation happened here, they were arrested here.
Thank you.
I would agree that that's, we don't have any connection with that, but they arrested.
And that should be made known to the parent, to make sure that they stay forward. Any kind of grant they can. I know for a fact, the boys won't run your door. My granddaughter comes here to tell us right about
I would caution you with an investigation going on, which you share.
So I don't have any other, anyone else signed up? Guess if anyone else has anything else they want to say, we can do that. You want to sign your name? Sure, if you just want to write your name on here, just so that we have it on record, we can, thank you. Lynn?
Yes,
Okay.
my name is Linda. Yeah.
Okay.
So, are you saying that nobody in this school knew about anything that happened over a year ago? Is that what you're saying? Or not?
We can.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, just the way you were saying it, was like, you guys didn't know anything about this until, just till they were arrested. And I know for a fact that it wasn't, so that's what I'm asking. If nobody knows anything, because it's an ongoing incident, you just don't wanna talk about it, is that what it is?
It's that it didn't happen at school or during school hours, that we don't really have any authority over that. We don't.
Okay, I just thought that if a child told a teacher about something that happened, that the teacher had to talk to somebody about it. That was my understanding. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
Be cautious of throwing fake allegations out there. And if you have facts on things, you probably want to live in the world of facts. But because of us as a district, and because this is an investigation, this is something we can't comment with, and we probably talk too much of it. Trying to let you know that. The things that you're saying, we take very, very seriously, and safety for our kids are always number one. And just because we can't say things to our parents doesn't mean that we're not doing all kinds of things. See where this is, but this isn't. This is still new. That's about the most I can say.
Thank you for coming out. And, I don't have any other, public comments at this time. So we can move on to, referendum discussion.
You wanna stick around for referendum stuff?
As much as I love referendum.
Well, you can see the pictures, but, you don't even need to see the pictures to know what we have going on here. A mess, but it's an exciting mess that we have going on right? So, I think our team has done a fantastic job of trying to, stay ahead of this. This parking lot, just so everybody knows, this is the last week that, the front parking lot will be open until August. After this week, everything will be in the back, and we'll be coming in either the fourth grade doors or the, commons side. So when we come to the board meeting next month, plan on coming in through the commons doors, back by. But everything is going, well. We run into some poor soils that, TNT and we're working with that, was not a surprise, right? We knew that some of that would happen, with our road back there, but overall, it seems like things are going as we could hope them to be.
Great. I have to admit, I came in the back going to school, I don't know, it was last week or something, had to pick up kids sick. And so I came in through the middle school doors and I haven't been down there for forever, which shame on me. I came in and I was like, where am I? Where am I at in this school? Because the office is different.
Well, middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like, what? So, yeah, shame on me, I haven't been down there. We're gonna have to have meetings somewhere else besides one room.
Yeah, well, when we have this, we'll be more in the middle, so
Okay.
when we're all said and done, we're changing.
Because,
rooms,
geez,
so.
luckily, get me out of here. My grandson was he was not too sick, he was, kept pointing the way to get out.
Nice.
Because I'd stop and look, and he'd go, okay.
What grade's he in? Then,
4K.
oh, 4K,
Yeah.
4K can help you
So
out,
he
yeah.
must, come that way on the bus to get into school, so. So it's like, glad somebody knows what's going on here.
Is there signs of where to come in the back now that, for games and such?
You know, we've done a good job of putting things on the website, trying to get the word out, like, here's where you come in here, here's where you go there. Outside, I think we've done a decent job out in front and where to go. I'm not sure, it might be something that we have to work on, is help us out. It's gonna be easier, right now, we kinda have a two-front war, soon it's just gonna be everybody's back there. We wanted to slowly progress into our new world here, and trying to ease the pain as much as possible. So, I will say, drop off and pickup have been fantastic, I think in some ways, I've gotten word that drop off's even better than it was before, because we know we've heard some things with drop off. And pickup the other day, we got it done, in 10 minutes, right? And even in the rain, which was a whole curveball none of us wanted to deal with, we got it done in 12 minutes. So if you're hearing things that it's taking way long, 12 minutes for pickup, we had cars longer outside of the old way. So
where is the pickup actually? Drop off?
we have a little, I call it a cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
little cul-de-sac in front where, drop off's easy, right? We have people there, 5 cars come in, kids get out, they pull out, 5 come in. But pickup has been pretty, it's been a process where now we have, Becky or somebody will walk along the whole line of cars. We put it into a Google Doc, each one of the families that have a card, their name on their card. We put in the Google Doc so we know the line of order that the parents are in. And then we name off 5 kids, they come up to staging, come in, boom, they go out, and we just keep going. And, you know, it's been, we've talked about, these will be some things that we'll probably keep implementing because they have gone so slick, when we have our new, parking lot. It's a little staff heavy, so I mean, pickup has about 8 staff members that are working it right now.
So the kids like stage inside the school?
Well, when it was raining inside the school, usually they're in the parking lot.
Okay.
We have one that read off the next 5 last names, and then the kids get into order. And then, so there's a staging spot here, and then there's a pickup spot. When these kids get picked up, the next group goes into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 order. The next group gets staged, so we have an on deck place, and where they're getting picked
So you
up.
don't have cars passing each other,
Nope.
like, you know,
So
it's just
single file.
single file order.
Okay, anything else?
No,
for
that's
Brendan?
good. That's
All
good.
right, great. Building reports.
All right, I'm going to kick it off tonight. We have Read Across Random happening this week. They started this morning by doing some classroom reads throughout the building. It was my first time doing it. It was very fun. Kids were so excited to hear the stories that we had to share. It was about 10 minutes for each, and then we would rotate, so really positive. That said, we are going to do classroom partner reads this week. We have some dress up days happening. The musical that they're doing at the elementary school is based on a school, Magic School Bus. There it is. Magic Tree House. Thank you, Lisa. You're so amazing. But just a lot of really fun activities to encourage our literacy. So awesome. And a big hats off to Jamie Utek for kind of taking charge of that and organizing it. Susan and I collaborated this year on our forward exam schedule. So we're getting the math out of the way before breaks, which is exciting. So we kicked that off on Wednesday. And then when we come back from break, we'll do 2 practice days and then ELA and then 2 more practice days and then social studies and science for those 4th and 8th grade levels. So just a lot of testing coming up as we head into April.
And with that, high school, the sophomores are required to do social studies. So Mr. Epping will conduct that on April 3rd and 4th through his class time for the high school forward. And then pre-ACT, ACT assessment day will be Tuesday, April 9th. And we're going to do a staggered start for the students. So at 7:50, we'll start the pre-ACT because that's for all freshmen and sophomores. So that way any students who aren't drivers and ride on the bus, they will come in on their regular bus route, and then we can get them started with their proctors. Then at 9 o'clock, we're going to bring in the juniors, or by 8:50, so that way we can start the ACT by 9 o'clock for our juniors. Seniors will not be in the building that day. And so then with that though, they'll be all started where Rachel has worked out a pickup. So for any junior that does need a ride that day, they're going to notify Rachel, and she will set up a pickup for them for our juniors coming in at that time. We will have bus ride home for when our freshmen and sophomore are done, which is after lunch, they will be going home. Our juniors are estimated to be done at about 1:45. And so anyone requiring a ride home, Rachel will have another route that she'll take home. So Rachel's been wonderful to work with, and I think we're going to have a really great assessment day. This is our first time that we're going to do the ACT online. From what we've heard from our other Big East high school counterparts, they found that it was really seamless, and they saw a bump in their scores with students taking it online. So this will be totally online for the students for our pre-ACT and ACT. Alaska Ranger virtual visit. This was for our Project Wild class, 7th grade. We had a ranger who was working with our students and talking about different animals and wildlife in Alaska. So it was really quite interesting, and the students found that really engaging as well. Staff professional learning time. So last week, Wednesday, we had what we call a joint professional growth meeting, and the teachers all came together and they were really continuing their learning and their focus on instructional strategies of framing the lesson, as well as starting to brainstorm what are our student soft skills that we would like to see from our students when it comes to being empowered, empathetic, and self-reliant learners. So really engaging in some thoughtful discussions around those three. We will also be continuing those discussions with our students as well. What does that mean to you as a student to be an empowered learner, empathetic learner, and self-reliant learner? So that way, as we start to really kind of dig into what is it that we want our students to know and be able to do in the area of soft skills.
Our core value for this month is peace, and so we've been working over the announcements, talking about what it means to be peaceful and to share peace and to live in a peaceful way with others. Sometimes I know March, as you get close to spring break, can feel a little rambunctious. So having that peace, calm tone as we're heading out into these next few days always helps.
All right, Ramway Roundup at the high school, and our high school food drive is underway. With your high schoolers, if you have them, tell them to bring on their food. I've got the bins located in my high school office, and they are still empty. So we're just waiting for food to be brought in. And then we'll be doing a Ramway Roundup. Last school year, we did this, where all the food that was collected, then the grade levels had a competition of a type of pyramid that they could build, or how high of a structure. And the grade level of the highest structure was the winning grade level. So the kids found that really fun. So a fun way to engage them around that. Prom theme is out, so casino night it is. So the kids are getting pretty excited. They're going to be coming together to plan this Thursday regarding what decorations and all that kind of stuff. And they're right now in process of voting on the court as well. So more to come out in the next couple of weeks regarding those activities. Strong Community Connections Conservation Fair is coming up. Wanted to highlight that Natalie had indicated, Natalie Weeks really facilitates this and coordinates it, does a great show, but getting bigger every year. This year, she's got 12 sponsors so far. I have a list of them. A lot of great sponsors that have been donating to really help make this event the event that it is. So thank you to all of our community sponsors for that. And then our student recognition. So our Big East all-conference selections are out for our winter sports. Girls basketball, we have Hallie. She was first team unanimous all-conference. And she also broke the 1,000 point record. So well done to Hallie. Lexi, honorable mention. And boys basketball, Reed was honorable mention. Wrestling, they were conference team champions, and then first team all conference, Chase and Stone, and congratulations to Stone on his first place win at state. Second team all conference, we have Caleb, Dylan, Nolan, Torin, Michael, and Eli, and congratulations to Torin on his second place win at state. Honorable mention, Seth, Cole, and Simon. Wrestler of the year goes out to Stone, as well as Coach of the Year to Helton Van Bush. So Colton Van Bush. So well done by the wrestling team. Academic All-State. This is voted on by the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association. Didn't get it in there, but I did want to recognize those kids. So we have Luke, Peyton, Madeline, Lexi, Chesney, Trista, Haley, Hallie, and Mara. They were all academic all-state winners as well. So well done to our ladies and gentlemen basketball. That's it. Oh, our tech-free Unplugged Day. Actually, it went very well. I think even I heard from the kids. I had several conversations with the kids leading up to it because there were some that were kind of angry, like, "Why are you doing this to us? This is not good. This is not going to be good. I'm not going to be able to last the day." All this kind of stuff. But then as I went around, we had the debriefing sessions at the end of the day, and I made it to almost every single one. And the kids were really having some very thoughtful conversations, and then saying, "You know what? It really wasn't that bad." And we remarked on in the cafeteria, it was the loudest I've ever heard it in the cafeteria at high school because they were talking and laughing and engaging with each other versus all looking at whatever they look at on their phones. So they found it overall, it was a good day. The teachers noticed more engagement and productivity from the students as well, but just the smiling and laughter during the hallway passing too. You could notice a difference. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some kids, it's like, oh, yeah. But in the end, they found they survived. I know. Yeah, you would thought the sky was falling leading up to it. Yeah, yeah. But it's also they are that generation that that's what they've grown up with is a phone or some sort of device. They are the technological kids. That's their generation.
We're starting to see, the research is starting to become clear about technology has a lot of really wonderful things it can do for us, but it also has some dangers, right? There's research that shows that the brain is developing differently, that the brain is different I really applaud this. This was a little bit scary when they told me they were going to do this. I'm going to do what? And I think I heard about it on the board, like, good luck with that when we heard about it. But, if we can just find ways to bring awareness that technology in its essence is good, but there's people that use technology for bad. We hear about algorithms and all those things that are out there. Our kids are getting bombarded by a lot of messages that tell them they're not pretty enough, they're not smart enough, they're not strong enough, that buy these products, you will be, right? And then we wonder why we see these things that are going on with our I can tell you, it's not cool, but it's fun. And I applaud that we're doing this, and we just need to become aware of it. So once we know knowing it's happening, which is going to be right? That's part of this. And I got to pop into a couple of rooms, and you know what? The conversations that I heard were actually pretty good conversation and a good reflection of we can in the real food.
Well,
Teenagers are going to say they're happy about it, right?
yeah.
But I think there's some we're able to put pen to a page like, oh, maybe I can see.
And the one thing that we were really trying to talk with the students about too is balance. That technology is always going to be a part of your life. But when you're on your device, think about why am I on my device right now? Because we need our devices, whatever it is, for work, for different things that we need to accomplish, purposeful. But then there are other times that you might be mindlessly browsing. So it's to kind of be checking when you're on what's your balance with that mindless browsing with purposeful and useful intent. But then also, like Mike was saying, what is our internet safety and awareness? That if I'm out there just because someone says they're 16, are they? So really being aware too of who you're communicating with and what you're sharing. So it was all those purposes that we were really trying to talk with the kids about. We would like to do it potentially once a quarter. Some of the teachers said we should do this every week. I'm like, oh, I think we really will have a revolt. But once a quarter, just to kind of, let's just have some downtime, decompress, and get back to some good old-fashioned face-to-face conversation.
And it was also the adults were technology too, so you couldn't say if not, and they could be on. So it's a commitment by the entire school community to do something like that. I was actually off-site for a PAC meeting, and I text Officer Cobb about something. He's like, what are you doing on your phone? You're not supposed to be out. Like, well, I'm not there. I even got yelled at for being off-site and using my phone. Put these away for everything. Yeah, that is fun, you know, so. Thank you for asking.
That takes us to board committee reports. Policy committee met, and that will take us right into the next two agenda items. So, we have policy 5350, suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention. This is the second reading. We had some questions on it last month, and on a part that was, we thought maybe was taken out, but it's actually just located in a different spot, so it's still there. So, is there a motion to approve 5350? Rini, is there a second? Katie, any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have, our next one is 2522, library media centers. And this came up, from last month's meeting, with Lisa presenting the library media plan. And so, where'd we,
So one of the
questions.
Yeah, so some of the things that there was questions on about the plan, really for a board, we should be looking at the policy and then creating the plan from the policy. So, Kim reminded me afterwards, like, oh, we have this the library media centers policy that we haven't done. Let's get this up to speed, and then Lisa can use this policy to help inform the plan. So, it was a kind of nice, that conversation led to this and where we're at with, the first reading of this policy.
Or it could be for approval. We don't have to go to first
Okay.
reading.
Okay.
I think that's what committee decided, that we could,
That's right, yeah, I'm sorry,
we could take it straight to motion.
I was distracted with that.
Through your phone.
Yeah,
So, is there a motion to approve? Katie, is there a second? Amy, any questions or discussion? Any,
can you wanna, oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I just trying to refresh my recollection of when this was presented last time. Wasn't there some concern about how the policy read regarding who has the final approval on books, and that it was supposed to be designated to our board here?
So,
Was that changed, or was that,
We have that one.
okay,
so what we did, and that's what I was gonna talk about, is we had some discussion about if a book is brought in for consideration about being, looked at by the committee, what should happen with that book, right? And I think there's some discussion at the board level that if anybody has any issues with the book, that book should be pulled off automatically until the committee gets to look at it. And to be honest with you, I thought that at leaving the meeting, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But fortunately, we have a policy Sherpa who we pay for and who sees this at schools across the country, right? And the compromise that he put in here, that he felt was that it should be up to the district administrator's decision. Because, and I've heard a new term, from this whole thing called the heckler's veto. And what can happen in situations where, somebody doesn't like a book that maybe it's deemed inappropriate, maybe it's just a book that they have something on, they could actually interrupt curriculum, they could interrupt by just naming off a whole list of individual books, and those books would not be available to anyone else while they go into review. And the compromise with this is, I've seen books that should have been taken off right away when there's been complaints, and I always use To Kill a Mockingbird. I know that, there's people that are on either side of that classic book that's out there. Some feel strongly one way or the other. And I don't know, I can't speak if we're using it in our curriculum or not, but if anyone were to go and say something about that right now, I know a district to the south took 3 or 4 months to decide on that one book. That would have been disruptive to that whole curriculum. If you leave it up to the district administrator, and this policy may survive longer than us and myself, leaving it up to the district administrator gives us that flexibility of, this is something that, yeah, there's some credence to this concern, or, you know what, let's send this to the committee, and let's have that committee have that conversation, but not be disruptive in the process. So, that was, what other districts are doing around this instead of pulling it in, and that's what we discussed here. Katie had a question that she submitted that I read to the committee meeting today as well. Anybody on the policy committee wanna?
I think we felt that the way it's written now makes sense, that the district administrator can determine it under using the guidelines, that we have for other things for the district administrator, that it just makes it more sense. And
Sorry, so it goes directly to the district administrator, it doesn't go to a committee review?
no, it will
Was there-
go, but just that,
The initial.
the
whether it's
initial, should we
assigned or
take it
not?
off or not?
Okay,
Because somebody's complaining about it.
okay,
The district administrator would look at it and say, it is harmful or it is not,
and then it'll go.
and then it goes through the whole process.
Okay, and then
Either
what
way.
about- What about the final determination?
Well,
About, does it come to the board? I'm sorry, I didn't read this and I apologize.
I believe in, letter F, it says the decision of the board is final,
Okay,
so they can appeal if they don't agree with the committee.
Yeah, that committee structure after that one is fine. So it goes from the normal committee. Whatever they appeal. So the committee just makes a recommendation. My question about the wording though was, it's kind of the limits of, what's on the district administrator? Right, so it says, the district administrator choose to remove the item, but not solely because of the ideas that may be unpopular or offensive to some. And I guess, like, what doesn't fit that definition, like, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, at the very least, whoever bought the book thought it was appropriate, right? It wasn't sensitive, or maybe if it was sensitive, it was appropriate. But like, somebody's complaining, right? So somebody thinks it's offensive, right? So like, I guess that line makes it seem to me like, I don't know what that means, right? Like how that changes.
So didn't we tie that to being, if the offensiveness harmful? So somebody might be offended to something, but our district administrator could decide whether that's harmful. Right? Is that the
Right, and
distinction?
kind of, you know, the piece is, I would hope the board trusts me or whoever's in this seat to be making decisions that are reflective of our community, right? And I understand that these are ambiguous words, but ambiguous gives us, is what's objective or what's, you know, let me get back to the words. Harmful or objective, right? Like those, that line moves depending on probably where your community is. And I've seen other communities that line would be farther one way than the other. So I like this because it allows us to reflect what we should be looking at in our community instead of making that hard line. And I think that's why Neola does that, because that hard line looks different here than it would look in other places. And what's harmful and what's objective,
Yeah,
right?
well, harmful isn't in there at all, right? It's
No, it is.
No, it
unpopular
is.
or offensive.
Threat of harm to students considered grade level, yeah. A threat of
Get into
harm
what's the
or offensive, I'm sorry.
decision of what's harmful then too. You define harmful to me. Kind of like somebody trying to define what is.
The
I mean, I'm just saying, it's,
Right.
Yeah, we're trusting our administrators.
boy, you can trust
Well,
them.
Are you being offensive or harmful right now?
Maybe more.
Yeah.
Right now, I trust our district administrator, right, but we don't have to stay pursuing it forever, so that's where stuff gets a little bit.
Well, Rini had that same,
Exactly the same. Yeah. And
but as, you know, we have policy, we can change our policy on a dime, you know, and if, I think Mike had a valid point too, that if this is the only thing that we have, that's the first thing we see as a problem, you know, we may have missed some stuff.
We might have missed something.
So, you know,
If there's something, if we don't agree with this, there's probably other value
yeah,
differences.
we might have the wrong person in that position, so. So I guess I feel like this gives us enough leeway and the process can move forward and we can protect our students and, you know, move on. That's my opinion.
Did you as a policy committee talk about the before statement that, like, for somebody to give their familiarity with the material?
We did. And that was, what we understand that to be is how do you know how did you find out that this piece is offensive or whatever?
That's not how I took that. I took that more as a like, how do you get to be the expert?
Yeah, no, I think we took it as, how do you know
right,
that
like
they're
my-
reading it or,
That makes sense.
Yeah, my third grader brought this home.
Right.
right. So that's how all of us took that, so.
Okay. And then the only other thing I asked about was more of a suggestion of like whether there should be a statement directly in it or if any members of the. I don't know if that means, I mean, maybe that's just an automatic, like you're understanding you didn't read it.
And the thought would be, everything's gonna look different, right? So it could be everything from a picture to a, comic book to a book. And as the committee reviews the area that is offensive, that would be maybe you have to read the full page, maybe you have to read the whole chapter, maybe you have to read the whole book. Let the committee kind of decide what those are, because, yeah, that would be something that comes, when we put the committee together, everybody's gonna come together and probably read why is this coming up, read the complaint of this person, and then decide, so.
Any other questions? All good questions. All good questions that, we did discuss. Anything, do you have any comments over there?
He's
Lisa?
got any thoughts?
Yeah,
I had a few questions, but I don't know if I need to ask,
okay,
just clarifications.
all right,
Yeah, well, we can talk about how this impacts the plan.
okay. All right, so all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries?
So this is first reading and we're done with it.
We're done with it. We're done with it. Check mark. I won't be back next month unless Lisa comes back to present her plan. Or it might be the following month if she needs more time. I don't know how much time she needs to do a plan. Or if you even want to bring it back this year. So, whatever you guys decide.
Oh, yeah, I know. We'll take that.
We have options
We
for
may,
you.
we may try to get the plan yet this year, since it's fresh, it's here, if
I
we
know
think,
the state wants it by the
Yeah.
end of the year.
we'll make these tweaks, put this in there, and then we'll make it a real quick 5-minute kind of discussion. I'm an optimist,
We have an updated policy now.
yeah.
Definitely
And-
clarifies a lot.
And this
Okay,
is,
great.
you know, the nice thing, this is where the board should live, right, is policy. The
Yes.
plan should reflect the policy.
Right.
And if we're having questions, let's make sure it reflects in policy and then have plans read off of it, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was, we, different way of getting to the ultimate end of where we wanted to, so.
Good job. Okay, early college credit, start college now request for fall of 2024.
Shoot. So, Mr. Frias couldn't be here, but he gave me a whole laundry list stuff of talk about here. So, first of all, why don't you read what's there, and then I'm gonna get some other stuff.
Okay,
If that's all right.
I'll read what's here. The Early College Credit and Start College Now programs allows Wisconsin public and private high school students to take one or more courses at an institution of higher education for high school and or college credit. Mr. Frias will provide a summary of courses students have applied to take beginning with the fall of 2024 semester under Wisconsin's Early College Credit Program, 2017 Wisconsin Act 59 or Start College Now program. The bullets are increase in youth apprenticeship programming and participation and 2024 graduating class career plan distribution.
Perfect. That gave me enough time to pull up what I was supposed to say with this. So, and Mr. Frias apologizes. He has kid duty tonight, so he wasn't able to make it. But one of the things, since he's been here, he has met with every student in the high school every year. And he calls them SCOPE meetings, and SCOPE stands for Student Counselor Parent Engagement. And the time that he's taking to have these conversations with parents and our students, to really talk about what do you like, what do you want to do, how does that go, it's changing our kids' lives, and it's giving them those really good conversations. We're seeing it in our numbers. So this year, we'll start the college here and now and the dual credits. We have 11 students that are taking classes at LTC. We have 8 students that are taking school at Moraine Park Technical College, and we have 3 students taking at UW Green Bay Sheboygan. So collectively, probably right there is probably over 100 credits that kids will be taking this next year. And the piece that is really kind of showing that we're moving the needle on this. Go back 10 years ago, and this isn't just a Random Lake thing, this is across the country, the narrative of every kid needs to go to college, had us somewhere between 60 and 65% of our graduates were going off to college, and half of them would drop out after the first year. That was a national average. That because everybody was being sent to a 4-year school, even though that probably wasn't the right place for them, they're going for a year and dropping out. This next year, with our seniors, and because of these SCOPE meetings, we know 43% of our students are still going to 4-year college. 26% are going to a 2-year college. 17% are going right to a job after high school. Actually, no, 24% are going to a job right after high school, with 7 of them going directly into the trades, and 7% are going into the military. And what national studies say, that a good distribution of graduates should be 30, 30, 30, 10, right? And I think you've heard me say that. 30 going to 4-year, 30 going to 2-year, 30 going into the workforce, and then another 10 into military. And these meetings are getting our numbers to resemble those type of things. So, the high school, I think you're seeing kids that are more engaged. They know that what they're taking are things that really will impact the future. And those are pretty cool things that are going on. So, it means more money for Patty, right? Some of these classes cost a little bit more, but our kids are getting the classes they want, and it's allowing us to be a little school and still have big opportunities.
Great, any questions?
Classes are they taking in the colleges?
So we have UW Sheboygan, we have 2 students taking calc and 1 taking physics. We have 7 kids taking medical terminology, 2 taking welding, 1 taking college anatomy, 1 culinary. At Moraine Park, we have 2 taking sociology, psychology, 2 intro to CJ. Master of CJ. Anybody know what? Criminal justice, thank you. 1 more taking anatomy, 1 taking nutrition for athletes, 1 taking 3D CAD, and 1 taking anime art. So, yeah. So there's a big variety, and how nice that our students can take these. We could never offer all these classes, right? But now our students in their junior and senior year can take these classes and really connect to the things that they want to do.
All right, next we have the athletic code updates. Are you, Brandon Miller too?
Yeah, was Brandon gonna be here today?
All right, so the changes that we had talked about wanting to update in the athletic code, right now, our current athletic code, if a student is ineligible due to grades, then they have to sit out 10, I think it's 10 days or 10, 15 days, thank you. I was like, what do I have it offhand? So what we'd like to do is to shorten that. So let's say, but do more credit checks. So do a credit check every, at halfway through the quarter and then the end of the quarter. And then the student has 5 days that then they can show that they improved that grade. So that way they're not missing out on as many competitions, because all depending on the sport, that could be the season at that time. And so we really want to be much more cognizant that if kids can show that they can improve that grade within a shorter amount of time, it gets them back into doing what they love as well. Because our goal isn't to keep kids out of sports, it's to get them going and keeping them into the sports. So that's the one major change there. So we want to do a grade check, just not at the end of each quarter, but we want to do a 6-week check or a 4.5-week check, and then the quarter check. But then 5 days, they can show that they've got that grade back up, they're back in ready for competition. They can still practice even while they're ineligible. It's just a matter of playing. Now, however, if they show after 5 days that they're still ineligible, then it kicks back into the full term at that point, which is the 15 days. Okay, so that's the major change there. Are you seeing anything else up there? That was the big one. Right. Oh, the other one was to bring us in line with our surrounding Big East schools was right now we are just based off on an F. We wanted to put in 1D or an F because that would make us in line with all of our other Big East counterparts, matching them. So it's 1D and an F or an F. They're both. They're both. We wanted to the D and the F. We wanted to be more in line with our biggies because we feel like you're an athlete, but you're a student first, and we want to show that we're holding you to a standard, to a higher standard, which is also consistent with other high schools in our Big East. But with the change with the ineligibility, that's a district piece because we really want to keep our kids engaged with our athletics, especially knowing as our enrollment is changing, especially with some of our athletic participation, we want to find ways to encourage kids to do their best and be able to maintain participation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that would be new. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Actually, it was teacher suggestion where they really felt that that should be something that in place. So yeah, teachers were behind that. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Yeah. Right. And that'll be something too, just like now, we had the end of the quarter on Friday, and I've been communicating out to staff and students. It needs to be updated by this day because the report's gonna be pulled on this day. So we're always forecasting ahead, so that way teachers make sure that if they have something hanging out there, they get it in. Mhm.
And there's been times where a grade check comes and the teacher will call and say, hey, this was handed in late, I didn't get this in yet.
Mhm.
Do this, and then we're like, okay.
And we'll pull the names off. Yeah.
We try, I think, to be always erring on the side of, they had it in for this. There's some times where, just because it's flagged, as a red mark here, there's more.
So even like now with quarter three ended on Friday, students have until Wednesday if there's anything hanging out there, and we're not doing that grade check until Friday. So we're giving it a week. And the teachers have already been notified and communicated with too, to make sure everything's updated. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of ratcheting it up and saying, you know what, it's not just MCQs, but if you do have that, we have time to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we must have fortunately.
Correct. Right, you have to be here by 11 o'clock in order to be able to participate in that event that day. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Have a lot less hairs.
Yeah, you can see, our attention have been in other places here. Yeah, was Sandy, why does it say Sandy was gonna be present? Oh, really? Okay. Usually,
Are we tabling that for next month?
I
or-
think we table it for next
Because
month,
we,
yeah,
Let's see if we can get Sandy here,
yeah.
or at least on line to tell us
Yeah, she didn't.
some stuff.
I know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that takes us into Donna Martin. Been around for 24 years, retiring. Are we gonna allow that?
Yeah.
I just look like all those microphones are.
Yeah, they left the microphone.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
It's all.
So Donna Martin, thank you very much for,
Yes.
her years of service. She's gonna, sounds like have a good time in retirement.
Yes, and thank you. I mean, it says professional assistant. She has been, as much of a teacher as any one of our teaching staff, so, big loss, but we look forward to her taking that next step.
Yes. And then that takes us into another, resignation. Is there a motion to approve Lori Bierman's resignation with thanks for her 18 years of service?
Yeah.
So that was Matt and Rini. Any questions or discussion? Sounds like she's gonna play with the grandkids too.
What an asset she's been.
Oh, yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
positive.
There are so many cool things that she's done with, working with our kids, working with, the Random Lake Historical Foundation with Gables, and anytime she can find ways to get our kids connected to that strong community connection, on top of being a fantastic teacher, we're very, very lucky to have the years we had with her.
Yeah, I think she connects with every one of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, takes talent.
Yes.
All those in. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And we have, some co-curricular coaches and advisors for 23-24 for baseball, softball, girls soccer, track, senior play, middle school track. Any questions? Alright, and volunteer, co-curricular coaches and advisors. We have baseball and softball. Those all look pretty familiar. And we need to appoint a delegate to the WIA annual meeting. Generally, it's our athletic director.
Yep. Activities director, yes.
Is there a motion to, choose Brandon to, do that for us? And is there a second? Katie? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Informational items.
Okay, so, first thing, let's start thinking about a spring retreat. Usually we do one in April or early May. I'll throw a couple Mondays out, in the next, couple weeks here and see what, we can do about doing a retreat. So just watch that for that survey to come out. So a reminder, our next board meeting, because of the reorganization, is April 22nd. So that will be our next board meeting, but we have our groundbreaking on the 15th. So, you aren't required to be present, but it'd be great to have you. It'll probably be no more than about a half hour. I wouldn't say it's more than a half hour. So, we have it at, did I say 5:30? Let me, I was, anybody that had that answer, and I think I'm the only one that does. So, if, we had the flyers went out, here it is. At 5 o'clock, and we will be doing the ceremony. So we'll meet in here, and we're gonna just go out here, and Ray will have somebody else say something. I know that, did you get something from Haley to put in into the sounder as well? So we put it on Facebook. It'll be just a nice way to commemorate what we're doing here, even though the ground's been broken. We wanted to make sure it was when we could see that there's something to it. And then, that's that. Oh, the last thing I wanna say, community corner, so, if anyone listens to WHBL, Friday mornings, twice a week, I've been asked with a couple of my other Chamber of Commerce friends to talk about all the great things happening in the community. So as the representative, as the school representative for Sheboygan County and Random Lake, we're gonna be talking about all the good stuff. So, you know, like we shared with, what Jake is doing around youth apprenticeships and dual credits and doing that stuff. So now, luckily, I have a face for radio, so I'm gonna be great for that. But, twice a month, we'll be doing, a time from like 8:15 to 8:45. So stay tuned. I'm sure it'll be riveting.
Sounds like it.
Legislative update on here?
Yeah.
Like, is there any, you know,
Yes, you did. You did. I didn't get to that email today, so, but I know I did see it. I didn't have the legislative update. I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. I did get, there today. And, there is some, talk right now, because I think you had mentioned something about, the start of school.
School is kind of like full.
Yeah. DPI's, putting together kind of their, so what's happening is, schools would like more flexibility. We believe in local control, right? And that's, our state is big on local control. But the tourism industry has, really kind of taken over local control. So, remember, this year, we started before September first, because we wanted to be done early for all the construction that's happening. Next year, we're starting after September first, so we'll have one of the longest summers on record, just to give us more time to get this work done. There's been a couple legislative, acts that have tried to gone through, but, they keep getting stopped by the school committee, the legislature. The person that runs it, he represents Door County, and guess what? They don't want school to start before Labor Day up in Door County, so it never gets a hearing. So now DPI is looking at doing something and creating more flexibility with the laws that are written, and that's what, is kind of happening. So there's all kinds of things around school start time that doesn't really apply to us now, but it did last year, but we were able to use the referendum. So. But I will say, I do wanna say, we meet, the Monday of board meetings, with the legislators, and just, we are very fortunate with who we have in our areas. They are very responsive. We always have great conversations. I leave there learning things that, you don't hear other places, and, I really appreciate all of them for their time, because it's, about an hour and a half, 2 hours once a month that they spend with us. So, it's been a really good relationship.
All right. Chuck, would you like to make a motion for the board to go into closed session as permitted under Wisconsin State Statutes, Chapter 19, Section 1985 1C, to consider a staffing matter, and will remain in closed session as permitted under Section 1985 1F to discuss student matters, since I missed you last time?
That's an outstanding motion I submit.
Okay, is there a second? Chris, this requires a roll call vote. Katie? Aye. Matt?
Yes.
I vote yes. Amy? Chris?
Yes.
Chuck? Amy? Thank you. We are in closed session. We won't be taking any action.
Yep.
And
Good luck to everybody with
Yes.
elections.
whoop-hoo.